I want to start with the first thing I know I learned in my public health high school gym class, and that was the calories in, calories out concept. I literally remember the gym teacher talking about when you eat more calories than you actually use, you start to gain weight. Can you help us understand why that is not an acceptable way to approach your weight loss efforts?
I've been there too. I've taught it for many years. I'm guilty of it. But I realize it does people a huge disservice. Focusing on calories is a distraction. It kind of makes sense. Yeah, eat less and move more, create a deficit, you'll lose weight. And you know what? It works, Mindy.
Yeah.
For the most part, for most people, it does work in the beginning.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it stops working. And most people think I just need to cut more or exercise more or do a combination of both. And then maybe it works again for a little bit and then it stops working. You see, the premise that people have when they take that approach of calories in versus calories out, and we see a lot of prominent people in our space still teaching it, their premise is that we need to get you to lose weight in order to get healthy. But that is not how the body actually works. We don't lose weight to get healthy. We get healthy to lose weight. When we focus on just cutting calories, it distracts us from what really matters, which is hormones and inflammation, cell metabolism. It doesn't have to be restrictive. You don't have to deprive yourself and measure everything going into your mouth. That is a short-term failure and a long-term failure as well. You're going to be frustrated. So when we focus on hormones and find ways to lower inflammation, the weight comes off as a side effect. And there are two key studies that I reference in the book that just demolished this whole calories in versus calories out approach. The first study was from The Biggest Loser, which was a TV show in the United States for many years. They had these obese individuals enter this TV show, and they would put them on a calorie deficit. They would restrict their calorie intake, excess exercise, and a lot of them lost a ton of weight. They celebrated them on the final episode. This study followed up with 14 of those contestants, and it showed that 13 out of the 14 contestants gained all the weight back, and a portion of them gained even more weight. But they also looked at their hormones, Mindy, and they saw that their ghrelin levels, their hunger hormone, was through the roof, and their satiety hormone, leptin, had plummeted. So they destroyed their metabolism. They're hungrier, they're less satisfied, and they have even more of a challenge now losing that weight. The second study was on fecal microbial transplants. Really interesting. They had two groups of obese individuals. One group, they simply gave them this fecal microbial transplant from lean donors, did not change what they were eating. They kept the calories the same, but the group that populated their gut bacteria with healthy bacteria lost weight, right? So study after study is showing this. I feel really bad for people that are just thinking it's all about calories in versus calories out, because like to your point, we were taught that in high school, and unfortunately, fitness pros and dietitians and doctors still teach it to this day. I think calories matter, don't get me wrong, but they're not important. They're more of a distraction.
So if I'm listening to this conversation and really hearing this differently for the first time, perhaps you just took a tool away from me where I could pick up a package and I could know, oh, the calories are too high in this particular food product. What else can I look at if I'm not going to look at the calories, or I'm not going to look at the calorie output at the cardio equipment at the gym? If I have to just totally let this calorie in, calorie out concept drop, then what else am I going to focus on? How do I know if a food is healthy? How do I know if my workout worked for me? And for a lot of people listening to this podcast, like calories in, calorie out appeared to be working. So what else can we put our focus on so we don't fall prey to the calorie in, calorie out game?
It's a great question. I would say don't count calories, count your carbohydrates. And I will preface this by saying I am not against carbohydrates at all. You know this about me, Mindy. I think they have a great role, and I talk about it in the book. However, 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy. That's a 2022 study. I already referenced that. I call them being in a keto deficiency. They're in a fat-burning deficiency because they're stuck burning sugar and glucose. There's nothing wrong using sugar and glucose as a fuel source unless you're only using sugar and glucose as a fuel source. And of course, out of the three macronutrients, carbohydrates, protein, and fat, it is the carbohydrates that will raise blood glucose and insulin way more than protein and fat. Protein has a very moderate response. You talk about this a lot, Mindy, and fat barely moves the insulin response. And insulin is a key role here. Insulin, as we know, is an amazing hormone. It's needed for survival. It's a energy sensor. But when it's chronically elevated from high carbohydrates and frequent eating, we have problems. It's the first domino to fall that triggers metabolic disease. You know what's really fascinating, Mindy? When I dug into the studies on insulin and weight gain and metabolic disease, there was two studies. One of them was called the Whitehall Study 2, number 2, and it showed that you could have full-blown insulin resistance, which is hyperinsulinemia, for on average 6 to 14 years without your fasting blood sugars changing or even your A1C changing at all.
Wow.
That's because the pancreas is so busy producing massive amounts of insulin to clear that excess glucose until it goes deaf to the screams, and then the insulin rises. So a fasting insulin blood test is a great test to get done. You want to see that in the single digits. 3 to 6 is what I want to see, where I want to see mine at. But to answer the question in a straight up answer here, instead of counting calories, count the carbohydrates. The average American consumes 250 grams to 300 grams of carbs per day. If you drop that to 100 or 50 total grams per day, you will start to lose weight without having to focus on calories, and you'll actually balance your hormones and actually have more energy at the same time.